Nice to meet you.
Lovely to meet you too.
Thank you for your time, Maryna. So please tell me something about your experience in this fair in Provine.
So this is probably my 7th Provine that I've been to. South Africa has exhibited at Provine since the very beginning, and the only time we missed out was during the pandemic years when the show didn't happen. It's definitely one of the most important shows for us as a category. It's a show where we will for sure have a footprint going forward, because it is so central to the European market, which is our biggest export market for the category.
So which is the best market for your wines?
The UK. So about 20% of all our exports go to the UK, and then followed closely by Germany and Netherlands. So Europe as a whole is really, that's where our exports really sit.
And are you present in China? Is the Chinese market important for you?
Yes, we definitely have a presence in China. We are represented in the Chinese market as well. It is a top 10 market for us, and it's one that we really see a lot of opportunity as a category, as we make really, really good wine, and especially the red wine that I know the Chinese market loves.
And what is your vision about the international market? Did you find something new this year for the future?
Yeah, we see a lot of opportunity for growth, especially in the African markets. First and foremost, we are African as well, so there is a kinship which is very important to us. But there is a lot of opportunity for growth if you start from the ground up, starting with education. It's an emerging market. It's a market that is only starting to learn about wine. So starting from the beginning, creating ambassadors through education in wine is really where we see a lot of opportunity, and this has been our approach within the African continent, where we have a footprint. At the moment, we only operate in Nigeria, Ghana, Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, Mozambique and Angola, and a little bit in Zimbabwe and Zambia, but there are so many opportunities within this very big and very fast-growing market.
Tell us about this territory. Which is the characteristics of this territory and discovering the wines?
Yeah, so we have a very diverse industry. Our soils, viticulturally, date back some 500 million years. And you can get different types of regions. You can get dry and hot regions, and lots of cool climate areas as well that are very high above sea level. And they all focus on different varieties and different styles of wines. There are 2 varieties that we really focus on when we position ourselves as Wines of South Africa. The white variety is Chenin Blanc, which we have the most plantings of in the world, roughly 17,000 hectares of Chenin. And we love Chenin because it's very versatile. So you can have a fresh and fruity and zesty Chenin that leans itself more towards the Sauvignon Blanc wine lover. And then you've got everything in between, all the way to rich and robust and voluptuous with a lot of wood that would appeal to your Chardonnay lover. And for the rest, it's really versatile when it comes to food. You can make sparkling wine with it, and even the sweet wines made from Chenin Blanc are absolutely spectacular. So from a variety perspective as a white, that is where we position ourselves very strongly in the South African market. When it comes to red wine, we really focus on the Pinotage grape. It's a grape that was developed in South Africa in 1925 by Professor Abraham Perold at Stellenbosch University. And he married 2 varieties, the one being what was then known as Hermitage, and the other one is Pinot Noir. And that's where the name Pinotage came from. But today we know that the Hermitage that they thought it was in 1925 was in fact Cinsault. So it's a mix of Cinsault and Pinot Noir that created Pinotage. And over the years, our winemakers have really learned how to make wines with this variety. They tried different ways of making wines, but the reality is you have to look at the parents, and the parents need to be handled with care, especially Pinot Noir. So very gentle in the cellar with that grape, and it creates wines that really speak to the parentage. Elegance with the with the Pinot Noir, and of course those savory notes that you would get from a Sanso. So that is our red variety. And then one more that I'd like to highlight is Cap Classique. It's a category that's doing incredibly well for us, not quite competing with Prosecco yet, and of course made in the method traditionnelle that they use in Champagne. So secondary bottle fermentation, they spend a minimum of 12 months on the lees before being degorged, and it's a category that is incredibly strong for us. Very, very high quality that we can get from our Cap Classique, and it's certainly a category that we are very excited about.
But what do you think about the climate change for the organic agriculture?
So climate change is real, whether we like it or not, and we have to work around that. What we are doing in South Africa is planting drought-resistant varietals. We're seeing our producers are planting varieties such as Verdejo and Assyrtiko, all of those kinds of Mediterranean varieties that we know do incredibly well in drier and hotter climates. We are also really focused on how we irrigate in our vineyards, making sure that the water use in vineyards is really precision viticulture practices. Then in terms of organic is very expensive to certify in South Africa. So you won't find a lot of organic South African wine. There is some, but because of the expense, a lot of our producers aren't certifying. They are farming according to organic farming practices because there is a belief in that system. But I think a practice that is surpassing organic farming right now is regenerative farming, because that is a lot more comprehensive and really covers a lot more bases than just organic farming. So that is something that we're seeing a lot of South African producers doing right now, focusing on regenerative farming activities within the vineyards.
Great. And please tell me something about our wines, because we have our red wines in our glass.
Yes.
And this is a Cabernet Sauvignon, right?
It is a Cabernet Sauvignon, and it's from Stellenbosch. And Stellenbosch is one of the most famous wine regions in South Africa, and they are very well known for their Cabernet. They do Cabernet very, very well. So this is a producer called Simonsig. They have been around for a number of years, a family-owned winery owned by the Milan family. They were also, incidentally, the first farm to produce Cap Classique in 1971. So they started the Cap Classique movement in 1971. And yes, very rich flavors, those typical tobacco, leathery, spicy notes that you would expect to get from your Cabernet Sauvignon. Rich, dark and red fruits on the nose, the lovely smooth and elegant mouthfeel, flavors that absolutely linger. And this is the kind of wine that you're going to want to sit down just on your own. Maybe you might want to share it with someone special on a beautiful winter's evening by a crackling fire.
If you have to choose a few words to describe your territory, these wines of South Africa, what means you choose?
I think South African wine is wine that is rich in culture, rich in diversity. There's certainly something for everyone. Our wines have long been undervalued for the quality that we produce. We, as I mentioned, have these very, very old viticultural soils that produce wines that speak to the terroir. It speaks to the nature of our people and the diversity of our people who farm the lands and who own the lands. And if you ever have the opportunity to come to South Africa and experience our wines in these beautiful vineyards on the beautiful farms, you will actually taste the sunshine and the beauty of the country that we live in. So we feel these wines express our future, our people, and the stunning landscapes that we have in South Africa. So whether you're enjoying a glass of South African wine in South Africa with the landscapes, or you get to experience it back home and just imagine what you're doing, hopefully you can taste that in your glass.
And I saw the fair trade logos.
Yes.
Yes, because we are in cooperation with fair trade?
Yep. So fair trade is growing in South Africa. Of all fair trade wine in the world, we produce 77%. So we are very, very big on fair trade wine, and on that level, I think after us, it's either Argentina or Chile. The Argentina and Chile that make up the other 23%. But yeah, 77%, so it is important. Our people are an important part of what we do. We need to ensure not only the future of their children, but also their children's children. And we can only do that by, number one, nurturing our land, nurturing our people, creating opportunities, and creating a future for many more generations.
Cheers.
Cheers to that. Thank you.
Thank you.